by the builder, thou wilt be crushed between gears like dry leaves underfoot. Thou art Garrett, are you not? So, once again we are met. And the woman of the woods, didst thou come here together? But lo, how easily evil is felled when the righteous hold the mace. Thou art transparent to me, Garrett. Even now I can see thou seekest to stop me, but there is naught you can do. My chamber resists all manner of infiltrations, even from a skilled man such as thyself. The servants hearken to my instructions only, and even now await my commands. Maybe I've waited overmuch. Good. Thine intrusion has been my cue to begin now the final preparations. May the world be ready for the builder's arrival. I fear you not, Garrett, that I have dispatched some of the builder's children to intercept you. Thou too will perish, and trouble me no more.
Well, that was a doozy of an opener. It's noisy in here. Let me get these frog beasts and get out of here, and then I'll start the commentary up in earnest. Okay, hello YouTube, the Eye of Stone here for a very momentous occasion. The walkthrough of Sabotage at Soulforge, final mission of Thief 2, played on Expert. We're avoiding these elder children of Karis that the man sent after us. As I've said elsewhere and repeatedly, since I played it, this has always been one of my absolute favorite Thief missions. I am one of several people, probably more than several people. A bunch of us have commented online that the first time we played this mission, it was baffling. It took me a long time to figure out how to beat this. Making the guiding beacon is a bit more complicated and multi-stepped than than a lot of other Thief mission objectives. So we're starting off gingerly. This level is all about resource conservation and combat economy, using limited resources wisely. You have plenty of resources and the chance to restock and rearm at multiple points, but mathematically there's no way to defeat every single enemy in this level. And it's such a beautiful level, an ominous level. Playing this all the way through in one sitting is one of those gaming experiences where you just suspend reality for that enjoyable few hours. So you can see there's a high ground, there's nooks and crannies and shadows aplenty, and I'm clinging to them. As I just said, there's enemies aplenty, and they have a basic idea that you're here. I'm not trying to do anything macho right now. Now I'll go ahead and show you this. This is the healing font. I suspect we're going to come here several times over the course of the level. Basically, it'll give you it's just like the one in Return to the Cathedral and Thief the Dark Project. You can use it to replenish a significant portion of your health. It turns off for a while, then it comes back on. So basically, with a time penalty, it's unlimited healing available in this level, if you can get back to it from wherever it was that you encountered your problem. There's a number of easily accessible factory bays, and we're going to be using these to complete the first primary objective of the level, which is to assemble the guiding beacon, and we'll go through that. But there's some of these locations are easy to get to without any trouble. Some of them are hard to get into, and once you're into them, it's hard to stay undetected. But this is a big level. We take one thing at a time. I'm going to go ahead and go through a... this is the apps. This part requires a bit of fancy footwork. Now, you can see down there, you've got Servant Mechanist. They're armed. They will attack you. They're just like Mechanists, except Karis has given them a new facial. Of course, the younger children of Karis will be a pain if they see you, and there are 2 spider robots, which will also fire upon you if they see you. So, as always, taking the films of Ridley Scott as our example, we have to slow it down. This part right here, jumping between these recesses, we're not going to get completely into that immediately, but there's a bit of fancy footwork that's required there. We're going to be coming back to that. Now, we have options. There's a surface we can drop down here. You could deploy a moss arrow onto that metal thing there. Of course, it makes a big clang, whereas we had a carpeted surface we were able to get back down to the ground floor with there. Now, I just walked right through it, but you'll see we had that pocket of shadow there. We could have used that to peek, so, you know, we don't come face to face with a roaming servant. And we can dip in here. Generally speaking, if you leave the little guys alone, they'll leave you alone as long as you don't stamp your foot too heavily. What we're doing now is we're making our way here to the plans room, because we need to get the plans so we know what to do to build the guiding beacon. I was just checking the flank there to see if anybody's coming, see if any servants are coming.
Soon all will be blessed with the breath of the builder. Then the
Yeah, just keep prattling away, Karis.
created, and all the souls, the rich that spurned me, the city watch that betrayed me, the loathsome pagans, the mindless commoners, even the loyal followers of Karis, all will receive the blessing and the cleansing. But will they lift up their arms and praise Karis as the vapors make them pure? Nay, they will wail and scream, most ungrateful.
Am I seeing something that isn't there when I think that there's a echo of this level at the end of Half-Life 2 where Dr. Breen is just talking at you while you get closer and closer to him? Was that maybe based on the concept of this level of having Karis taunt you while you do your thing? Maybe, maybe not. It's impossible to say. In these safes over here on the left are plans for various things. You got the guiding beacon, regulating round, mines, flares, and we have a most unfortunate
Cease worrying, nothing is here.
Soul right here. Again, is there a single reason why we need to take that servant down? No. We just don't jump around like barbarian. Although I shudder to invoke the memory of one of the worst games ever made while playing one of the best games ever made. So these are the guiding beacon blueprints. You can't see them because of the way Fraps interacts with the game, and I don't like breaking the continuity to show things, but as we build...
This is just what I was looking for.
As
Now
we
I've got a real plan.
As we build the guiding beacon, I will be explaining to you where we are and what we're doing and what we're using. So you will not be completely in the dark, although if you want walkthroughs, they're available everywhere on the web. I consider this to be a let's play as opposed to a walkthrough, but if nowhere else, I will not leave you in the dark as to how to make the guiding beacon or what to do with it. So you got flare blueprints. What else you got? You got regulating round blueprints. We need these. Separate plans. So that's the first. You got mine blueprints. Handy to have because it's handy to make mines. This thing I'm reading right now explains that we have can make scouting orbs. We have to once we get the guiding beacon installed, we have to switch some transmitters, and again we will go through all of that. But the first thing I want to say about the guiding beacon is, in order to make it, there's plans for the guiding beacon and there's a plans for the regulating round, and we have to make both of them separately and then fuse them together, and there's a process for that. And once we have the guiding beacon manufactured, we have to place it where it needs to be, and then we have to switch a set number of signal towers to use it as opposed to the twin one that's already in there. That will bring the servants back to the cathedral here, detonate them inside this place as opposed to outside this place, and we will thus save the city and destroy Karis. Now, you have these rooms located throughout this level that have stuff in them. Materials for building things. And there's a couple of these rooms, but especially this one. There's two of these that really could have just been taken straight out of System Shock 2 in terms of the way they're laid out. This room right here is extremely evocative. It really reminds me strongly of a chem storeroom from System Shock 2. Of course, that game also being that game was produced by Looking Glass Irrational, and chronologically it's right with these two. So we're just we need a Batam node. We need steel plates. Now we're going to need a gauge. We're going to need a bunch of steel cages, especially for the mines. I'm just refreshing myself what we're going to need. I'll go ahead and here and mention, to make the regulating round, you need a gauge and a BATAM node, and we're going to put those together with the linking machine in Factory Bay D. And the locations of the factory bays are indicated on the map you'll get when you begin this level. So to make the regulating round, you need to go to the linking machine in Factory Bay D. You need a BATAM node and a gauge to make it. And we're just we're hunting for what we need in these rooms at this point. This one especially looks like a chem storeroom from System Shock 2. I wonder if in some form this was recycled into System Shock 2, because it's just so similar. Or if it was just simply the same sensibility. Okay, so here's some gauges. We've got steel plates.
But the hand of the builder. What the builder wills, Karis does. What the builder wants, Karis makes. Praise to Karis and the builder.
I didn't want to talk over Karis, but we're coming up with a bunch of stuff that we're going to need. We need the quicklime solution to make mines. We've got a bunch of wonderful stuff in here. It's very forgiving in this level. The level's so big that the builder's children can see you out of the corner of their eyes, and you're not distinct enough so that they won't really chase you the way they usually would. So actually, environmentally, this is a very intimidating, ominous level. You have to understand that it's giving you the advantage because you're just staying hidden. Karis's minions have to search this place for you. It's dark, there's corners and recesses, and it's dimly lit. It's nighttime. Actually, you have the advantage, especially if you stole a bunch of stuff in masks. You're armed to the tooth, at least you should be. There's all kinds of resupply here. You can manufacture your own stuff. You usually don't get to do that. You can manufacture mines. All kinds of resupply to find. You have the advantage here. It's just, are you able to make intelligent use of it? Because you have the advantage doesn't mean you're invincible. But if you do your economy right, this level need not be a choking challenge, so that at the end of the game you can just sort of soak in the atmosphere. This does not have to be, you don't have to stress this level. I mean, you might indulge in stressing it just because it's the finale, but of course, I'm going to thin the ranks a bit so we don't have quite as many roamers to deal with. And that's what just happened here. Clearly something just happened. If you're carrying a body around, you have some explaining to do. I'm just trying to find a nice out-of-the-way spot because you never know what the builder's children are and aren't going to see. Okay, so, Factory Bay D. This is where we make the regulating round. Of course, we have to get in there. Now, how are we going to do that without running afoul with those two builder's children who are right there? Well, one's better than two, but why so violent? It's not necessary. What did you just see there? You saw a big hole in the roof. So how are we going to get through that hole? Well, I mentioned earlier you can deploy a moss arrow, so that's just exactly what we're going to do from here, this location above the high ground where we can. Don't stress this level, just be attentive. Really use this environment to your maximum advantage. It's a bunch of small puzzles distributed over a large area. Now, you do have to be spry on your feet. A missed jump, all that. But see, it's that padded surface we just fell on, so I didn't lose 3 shields. Yeah, the environment works to your advantage, you need to know how to use it. So now at least we're in the factory bay, because we're going to go through this tunnel and we're going to come out into factory bay D, where we're going to use the linking machine to manufacture the regulating round. Now, this is going to be a bit tricky because there's a lot going on in here. Okay, got a roamer. Roving patrol. And this is the sealing machine. We're going to use that later. We are going to use the sealing machine, but it's not the linking machine. It's not what we need right now. So we have to get where we need to be. And we've got stuff in our way. Of course, this little guy is trouble. In this context, he's big trouble. If we brush up against him, he's going to go nuts. If we walk too loudly, he's going to go nuts. To the left and back where that servant just walked, there's a whole nother area, and then beyond that, there's more large builders' children. So, again, let's try to find out who's where. Use the scouting orb for timing. Have a plan. When you have the leisure...
'Twas the builder that smote them, the precursors. He gave them the power to bring about his paradise. The terrorists have locked in anyway. The wilding is forever. It is clear they were punished for their failings. Their civilization was wiped away. Then ours could emerge, and now ours shall give way to the builders.
As I was saying before we were interrupted, when you have the leisure to lurk and hide, have a plan before you pounce, because you're going to be a dancing bear on a unicycle if you pounce without a plan. Every time. Works every time. Now, we have dropped the components into the linking machine, but we have to activate the linking machine. We've got another storage room here. We're going to go in here and harvest more goodies, and then we have to activate the linking machine to make the regulating round. Again, you know, the guiding beacon was the thing that tricked me up when I played through, so I'm going to do the best I can to make sure you know what you're doing if you're going to watch this video. But I want to say that I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to the Thief Wiki. I have here on YouTube, I have had occasion to talk with someone who is actively involved in the Thief Wiki at this time, and I want to give them a big shout out because virtually everything you could need and then some is available there, and it's useful to me. I can't remember everything, and of course there's a lot of older resources that thankfully we still have. Now, you have to look for these copper colored grates. Your moss arrow, your rope arrows can mate with those. Your vine arrows, excuse me. Okay, now that splash cost us. We've got a big child looking for us. We have to be careful. Goofed up again. Here's a water arrow. Just stay out of sight. When you're this dark, probably he's not going to launch a cannon into your face, although it could happen. Sometimes you can be this, the visibility gem can be this black, and because of something you've done, they see you. Now, this is what happens when you rush and you get tense. Theoretically, this thing with the vine arrow that I'm trying to do should be working. It's not, and I'm about to die. But, again, take a page from Darth Vader and control your fear, and you'll probably pull through. So, I tried something, and it wasn't working a bunch of different times. You see this padded surface that I'm on now that doesn't make any sound? Oh, he can be taught. You see, again, use the environment to your advantage. And if something didn't work once, it probably won't work again, but you never know. With the physics engine in this game, you never know. Okay. Now we're where we need to be. No one's taken a shot at me yet. Alright, so this operates the linking machine, and then the other one operates the sealing machine, which is closer to the exit. So, we're going to activate the... Oh, you see it down there, the ring? The sonic ring? That's the regulating round. Boom. Now we just got to go retrieve it. Now we don't... Alright, let's get the hell out of here. Got what we need. There's actual cover here. He can't see us, we're underwater. We're at an impossible angle for him, we just need a surface for air. We can wait him out. Although I will say, in earlier versions of the game, non-Steam versions of this game, in the commercial version of the game, the non-Steam versions, there were glitches. Wonderful, interesting glitches that have since largely been corrected. And if you traumatized the enemies too much, they'd never calm down again. There was a certain threshold where they'd never calm back down, and then you'd have a permanent obstacle in your way. And one of my Dromed friends, someone I know who is well versed in Dromed, gave me an explanation as to how that ends up happening. It's not imagined. He explained how.
What hast thou built, Garrett? When the time comes to review thy life with the Master Builder for thee, and the question is asked, what hast thou built? What will thee say, poor Garrett? For thou art a man of destruction, not construction. 'Tis the biggest sin of all. Build thyself today a good house. That would please him much.
I never undertook to learn Dromed. At one point I I've booted it a few times. At one point I was telling myself I was going to learn Shock Ed. It never happened just as well. Okay, so now we have the regulating round. The primary task at hand is to build the guiding beacon. And we're going to do it. See, there's a spider bot over there. Our other primary objective at all times is to stay out of sight. That is as far as what I've read online is concerned, there's a goal in this level which says don't let Karis find out what you're doing. Apparently it's impossible to fail that goal. There's nothing you can do in the level that will cause him to say, aha, you're building a guiding beacon, boom, the level's failed. Apparently that never happens. But if you don't stay out of sight, you're going to have problems. Now, we've got friends in here. We have one less friend now because I just threw a pile of frog beasts at the builder's children who are in here. And they're returning fire on me. That was far too close for comfort. A little bit of combat. Drop a mine there. Come to me. We're in cover with a good angle. If that doesn't stop him. It did stop him. Here comes more trouble. Now this gets me in trouble with some purists. I blew all the resources on that battle because this opening part of the level, here's the rolling machine. This part of the level, which is where you start, is actually very important. Not just to making the regulating ramp, not just to making the guiding beacon, but also there's a factory bay above us, which is where you make mines. So yes, I spent resources to liberate this area, but now I also have gained access to a place where we make mines. And making mines is helpful against the village giant. We will definitely come back this way several times. Let's go upstairs. Now we have a friend. We're going to do this much more low-key. Took two. Okay. This is this is the bellowing machine in Factory Base C. We're going to take the signal bolt, drop it in there, and there's the stage 1 piece. Disregard the steel plate I just put in there, that was a mistake. To make the stage 1 piece, you take the signal bolt and put it through the bellowing machine in Factory Base C. That's all you need to do. Signal bolt, bellowing machine, Factory Base C, boom. Stage 1 piece. Now over here is the amalgamating machine. This is where you make mines. You need a iron chassis. And the quicklime solution. Except don't do it like that. Just leave these here, so you're not carrying a ton of stuff around. If I get more iron chassis, I'll come back.
Many things. I have made servants from street scum. I've made towering arches from raw ore. I have built to glorify him that is builder and teacher. If ever I did a thing, 'twas always for him. He knows this. Because he knows all.
Now this has yielded us the mine bulb, and there's a second step. Alright, so 7 mines. That's a lot of mines. So we have the stage 1 piece completed of the guiding beacon, and we have some mines coming up here pretty soon. Got the rolling machine. We're going to take the stage 1 piece. Push this button. And get the stage 1 piece right back. We didn't do it right. What did we do wrong? Didn't add our steel plate. Add the steel plate into the chute here. Then you push the button. Push the button, monkey. Aha! Stage 2 piece. So, a steel plate and the stage 1 piece into the rolling machine in Factory Bay A, stage 2 piece. Now you can see a scouting orb up there on that ledge. There's a copper grating where you can use a vine arrow to get to it. I'm not particularly worried about it right now. Again, of course you want to explore these levels. Now, if you make it a point to visit every single area of this level every time you play through, you're going to be making it unnecessarily involved. Once again, there's a couple areas we're not going to get to in this go round, but I'll leave you something to go find on your own. Actually, there's whole swaths of this level that you don't really need to visit just to beat it. I'm going to take us to most of the places in this level. Now, we are going back to Factory Bay D to complete the mines we started. So we're going to come back here. We're also going to do some work on the guiding beacon, taking the stage 2 piece and the regulating round, and we're putting it into the sealing machine in Factory Bay D. But of course, we have to activate the sealing machine, which means we have to go back where we were and get up on that platform and push the button that we didn't push last time. Because last time we were here, we were using the linking machine. Now we're trying to use the sealing machine. And we're getting another water arrow to put a silver lining on the big screw up. It would serve me right if I'd have lost everything, but it wasn't in the cards.
Alas, I alone must wait for purification. I must remain alive to greet the Builder, while all around me all else is cleansed by his wondrous breath. The day shall come when I too breathe in his perfection. My burden is heaviest now, but my rewards will be greatest later. Praise the Builder for all his wisdom.
So again, we have the stage 2 piece and the regulating round in the sealing machine in Factory Bay D, and we're about to go activate it. The stage 2 piece and the regulating round makes the stage 3 piece. We're using this one, pushing that button, activate the sealing machine. Come back down here. With control, Saving throw. Saving leap. Alright, the pieces aren't there anymore. That means the machine activated properly. Boom, the stage 3 piece. The regulating round in the stage 2 piece through the sealing machine, factory bay D, to make the stage 3 piece. Now, the next part is we're going to put the stage 3 piece through the fusing machine in factory bay E. Stage 3 piece, fusing machine, factory bay E. Just making sure that we're not running into any oncoming traffic. I hear footsteps. So let's wait. A rather grisly end for the loyal followers of Karis. He found one final use for them. Now, while you're making the guiding beacon, the level is somewhat fast-paced, and it's one high-energy task after the next. Again, if you play with skill, and you pay attention to timing and technique, use stealth, use timing, if you're good with your finger work on the mouse and keyboard, doesn't necessarily have to be stressful. But we're about to finish the guiding beacon, and then we're going to have a new primary objective, which we're just going to have to slow it down more, because after we get the guiding beacon assembled and placed where it's going to be, then we have to switch. We basically have to throw some switches, and we have to get to the switches, throw them while staying undetected. That is the crux of it right there. So you just gotta slow it down. The way to not make a stupid mistake is to not rush. You know, I don't do this as a speed run, so to do this in a sensible manner is going to take a while. Of course, Thief 1 and Thief 2 are the first era. Taken together, they're the first era of Thief. Both Looking Glass Studios, both Drum-Ed. They're the originals. And Thief 3 is a second chapter, and I happen to feel a good chapter. So we're going to be going there. Uh-oh. He's suspicious. He did not acquire us. He's searching. See, that was a mistake, but if you don't panic that could have gone a different way. He could have ended up acquiring us and shooting and hitting us, but there's just this brief instant where you have a chance to react or not react a certain way, and you can turn a foot of steel in your gut into a run and hide. It's better than nothing. Now, I mentioned earlier that up here fancy footwork is required. The apse is where the guiding beacon, once we get it finished, is ultimately going to be. So we're going to have to, well, there's several ways you can do it. There's an elevator, and you can also jump from alcove to alcove to get up to it. There's two ways to do it, really.
Cleanse thy thoughts and accept his words. Embrace the coming of the builder's paradise and rejoice in the humble part that thou hast played.
Okay, we're here in Factory Bay E, and this is the fusing machine, which is going to turn the Stage 3 piece into the guiding beacon, the completed guiding beacon. Factory Bay E, the fusing machine with the Stage 3 piece to make the finished guiding beacon. But as you can see, getting to it is going to take some doing, because we've got little builders' children who will get spooked if they see us. We've got watchers, and if those go off, there's large builders' children who are in storage that will be deployed, and there's also roaming large builders' children in a hallway that's to the left of what you see on screen right now. And it's worth it to me to take out one of those watchers, let everybody calm down, and sneak in. Now, we have passed it several times already. There's a hatch in a wall that we have passed by several times, and it opens, and it's going to be a secret exit out of here, because getting out of here by going to the left would be troublesome. But all we have to do is put the Stage 3 piece through this machine, and we can get the hell out of here safely. See? That's our way out. Let's go ahead and get it ready so that if we rouse too much attention manufacturing the guiding beacon, get out. We're going to have to open that door before we can flee. We don't have an incoming firewall. We're trying to throw that switch to open the door. Alright, so Stage 3 piece, sealing machine, guiding beacon. Stage 3 piece through the fusing machine. In fact, Stage 3 piece through the fusing machine in Factory Bay E. Now we have the guiding beacon. Okay. Now we have to place it where it belongs. It's definitely a complex task, complex process. Alright. Really? let's just take the elevator. Except that if I were to have gone all the way up there, I would have found that the way is blocked. So we have to do some flying, basically. Some very high-risk jumping and climbing. And you'll see why I didn't ride the elevator all the way up to where we're going, because would have got us a whole lot of nothing. We get to do it the dangerous way. You miss, you die. Now, that central arch is where we're trying to get to. These ladders can be treacherous up here. You'll injure yourself if you fall there. Just don't have a lot of... this is an unforgiving sequence right here. But look how beautiful in the dark sort of way this level is. It's internally consistent. It's a nightmare in metal and stone. There we go. Alright, this is not where we need to be. We have a jump to make. Now, do you see to the right there? Okay, the guiding beacon is in place. Signal slot B. Now, we have to switch... these antennas from A to B, or the guiding beacon we just made isn't going to do its job. So, the first one's free.
If Karis has any way to detect what I'm doing, I'll know soon.
He speaks it first in our waiting ears, and God's pen when 'tis time to read. 'Twas not
Karis didn't pipe up about the sabotage. I don't think he knows.
Spoke it first to his ear and guides him now during final hours.
Okay, so the first one, as I just said, the first one was free. That's one. So far we've switched one antenna from A to B. Now the rest of them are distributed over great distances in this gargantuan level. So, once again, hopefully you used a minimum amount of resources. To get through the process. To get through the process of manufacturing the guiding beacon. Hopefully you used a minimal amount of resources, because you're actually going to need more of them now to stay undetected long enough to get the requisite number of signal towers switched. Hi. Well, this was a little bit abrupt here. My play of this level ran to 2 hours. At this point, we were halfway through. That's just a lot of crunch time for my machine to handle. 2-part uploads of levels is never my first choice. I've been lucky to avoid it for most of my Let's Play of Thief and Thief 2, but I had to cut this one in half, so please watch part 2. I will see you there.